Now, after discussing legislative measures, we will discuss the what institutional framework and measures or the steps taken by the government. So, at the institutional level, first institution that I will discuss is National Cybersecurity Coordination Center, NCCC. Remember the full form first of all, and this particular institute, it aims, what it aims? It aims to screen communication, metadata coming into the country to detect real-time cyber threats. So, this is basically the aim of the NCCC. In addition, next point is CERT-in, that is India's Computer Emergency Response Team. If in future any kind of attacks that happens, then the first response that will be taken care by will be the institute CERT-in. That is why it is Emergency Response Team. And what it actually aims, it is mandated, first of all it is mandated under IT Amendment Act of 2008 to serve as a national agency in charge of cyber security. So, if you have to define these particular institutions, you can mention these two lines in your examination and you can conclude it if holistically it is being asked to you. Next point is the Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. This is called as India C4, right, and Cyber Warrior Police Force. So, this is basically established under newly created Cyber and Information Security CIS division to tackle internet crimes. And what cyber crimes that we are dealing here is that you are already aware of. I have given you the list of cyber crimes. Examples is extorting people, and then particularly women, and then cyberbullying is there, trolling is there, child pornography is there. So, all such kind of cyber crimes, internet crimes are there, and this particular Cyber Warrior Police Force, it is trying to ensure that India fights against the cyber crime. Okay, so these are the three examples. Next is the students National Critical Information Infrastructure Protection Center, that is NCIIPC. First of all, you must know that it functions as a specialist unit under the National Technical Research Organization, which is also called as NTRO, and under section 70A of the IT Act it was formed, right. It was declared as the nodal agency for protection of the critical information infrastructure of India. So, this way you can give introduction to the topic. If you are let us suppose the topic has been asked independently, then this would be the introduction to the topic, and this can also be asked as a prelims question in the exam, because different statements can be made out of this. Okay. If it is being asked what is the vision of the particular institution, so the vision is to facilitate the safe, secure and resilient information infrastructure for critical sectors of the nation. And let us suppose if the mission is being asked to you, what is the mission of this particular institution, then you will write to take all necessary steps or measures to facilitate protection of critical information infrastructure from any kind of unauthorized access, modification, use, disclosure. You can use all these points, disruption and destruction. So you can use these keywords in your exam as well, particularly access, unauthorized access is there, some kind of modification if it is being done, or maybe some kind of information which has been which hackers are trying to misuse, disclose the information maybe, or disrupt the information, and even if they are trying to destruct the information, then all necessary steps that are required. This is the particular mission of NCIIPC Center. Very important organization. You should mention it in your exam at institution level if it is being asked to you. If separate question is being asked regarding this particular topic, and if you have to give the functions, what are the functions of the institutions, function of the institution, then you can mention first function as a whatever malwares are there, its analysis. I have already told you what is malware. Malware is a malicious software which is trying to get into your system and extract the information or steal the information. Second is also tracking zombies and malwares like whatever they are spreading. So I have told you about botnets, zombie computers which are being used in DDoS attack. If you have not seen part 1, that go and watch the part 1 of cybersecurity topic so that things become easier for you. It also also functions in creating awareness and training of employees. It is always available 24/7 for its operations and as help desk. Then again, fifth point is the research and developments. At the research and development level also it is always ready for any kind of research related to smart and secure environment. Ultimately, it also ensures whatever may be the issues of daily or monthly cyber alerts and advisories. So whatever has to be done, this particular institution does that job. Okay, students. So we have discussed this particular topic in detail. If anything comes up, now you are ready. Next is the Cyber Swachhata Kendra CSK. What are the basic points regarding this particular topic? First of all, what is the mission? The mission is to create a secure cyberspace by detecting botnet infections. I have told you about botnets, and to notify cleaning, securing the systems and to the end users to prevent further infections. If at the operator level it is being seen, then who is operating such kind of cyber Swachhata Kendras? It is being operated by Indian, particularly computer response team. So CERT in is taking care of this, and objective of the institution is for creating secure cyber ecosystem in the country. In addition, it is also first of all launched by Ministry of Electronics and MIT, you know that MIT, Electronics IT Communication, right? And it is very important for analysis of malwares and botnets that affects networks and systems. So you can mention this clear line, this one line for introducing it, and if it is being asked in detail, then you have the mission and you have the objective of this particular institution as well. Okay students. Next is Cyber Surakshit Bharat Initiative. This is again launched by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, MIT. Important point, this can be asked as a fact in prelims question as well, prelims topic as well, and it has been particularly open in association. It works in association with National E-Governance Division. So it was launched by MIT in association with National E-Governance Division and industry partners as well. To strengthen the cyber security ecosystem in India. This is very important point here which I am mentioning. It is one of the first public private partnership, and this could be one of the points in the prelims statement where it would be asked that it is only a public entity and no private participation is there. So that statement would be false because this is public private partnership. And then if I give you some names of the private partners, it is Microsoft, Intel, then Wipro is there. Okay, so all these partners are there. Again, next point is, what is the aim? The aim is to spread awareness about cyber crimes and build capacity of Chief Information Security Officers and frontline. So whatever employees are there, frontline whatever IT staff is there across all government departments. This is very important. Your employees needs to be aware that, and nothing careless mistake should not happen, because due to carelessness we have already discussed that how malwares can be introduced in your system. So whatever IT staff is there, frontline IT staff is there at the government departments, that would be trained sufficiently. In addition, it also includes the series of, for this purpose, for this particular point, that how to train these IT staffs. For this purpose, it includes the series of workshops on the best practices at all levels. So remember the keyword here is workshops. This is all about Cyber Surakshit Bharat initiatives. There are some other initiatives as well, other measures are as well. So I just give you some points about it. First is Digital Army program. This particular Digital Army program is similar to Meghraj for the Indian Army. So what it does actually, it is a dedicated cloud space actually, and to digitize and automate processes, procedures and services which are similar to, again as I have mentioned, again similar to Meghraj, which is similar to Meghraj of the Indian Army, and it is launched as part of Digital India. So let us suppose in future a question comes up on Digital India, so you can mention this particular point as well in that particular answer. Next is definitely the cooperation with the other countries. So India is definitely trying its best to ensure the mutual sharing of information and best practices with many countries. Ultimately, it is called as ISEA. This is another measure where information security education and awareness project is there. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to train, we are focusing on training of approximately 1.14 lakh of persons through different institutions, 52 institutions, and all these institutions, they come under ISEA, Information Security Education Awareness Project. So this is a project where such a huge number of people, they are being trained and they are being given certificate, and actually this is being done to raise awareness and provide research, education and training in field of information technology. Alright students, so these are other three measures at institution level. In the mains examination, if a separate question is being asked regarding the explain the institutional framework or institutional level, what steps taken by the government, you have now ample amount of points to express and make it a 10 or 15 marks answer also. It is up to you to use this information wisely, and this much only content you can write in the examination, in fact even less than this. So prepare only up to the mark preparation should be there. You should not exaggerate things, because then it becomes so difficult to write in the examination. You just get 7 to 10 minutes for writing one of the answers. So read limited, make your notes limited, but revise them to an extent that if it is being asked, then your answer should be at that point of time you should be able to recall it so well. So revision is the key. I am again telling you, you learn only 3 points from all these points, but at least you should be able to write these 3 points in the examination, which is more valuable. Okay students. Coming to the global cyber strategy, at the global level, what framework is there? So one is the regarding World Economic Forum cyber risk framework. So what are the key points or core principles of such kind of a framework. First point here is, students, that recognition of interdependence. It simply means that all parties have to share interest in fostering a common, resilient digital ecosystem. So we must have, first of all, we must have a, the core principle is that we need to ensure and recognize that there is an interdependence and all the stakeholders needs to come together. Second point is the role of leadership. That we need to encourage executive level of awareness and leadership with respect to cyber risk management. Cyber risk management. These are the two core principles. The third core principle is integrated risk management. Regarding the integrated risk management, we need to develop a practical and effective implementation program that aligns with existing framework. Ultimately, fourth principle is promote uptake, which means that we need to encourage suppliers and consumers alike to develop similar level of awareness and commitment. So as you can see, if we see all these particular core principles together, then first point is regarding the interdependence. So you recognize it, and then what you are trying to do, you are trying to establish a role of leadership which is required. Ultimately, then risk management should be there, and we need to uptake it and promote ourselves in future as well. For any kinds of suppliers are there or customers are there, they needs to be encouraged regarding their awareness of the cyber security and their commitments. So this is what the World Economic Forum cyber risk management, which is important, because you need to understand the threats associated with you. You need to understand how much vulnerable you are, and then you assess your risk and then ultimately your response. So you can quote this particular equation in the examination. Next is, students, Budapest Convention. So this particular convention, it was done in 2001 and by European Council. Europe Council was part of it, and if it is being asked to you whether India is participatory to this convention or not, then you must mention that India is not participatory. India is many a times been asked to sign this particular convention and then particularly participate in this convention, but India has not participated. The reason behind is that when that convention happened, India was not participant, and since the problems associated with the issues specific to India, they were not addressed properly, India cannot be the part of such convention, and that is why India and other countries, particularly Russia as well, they have raised their points and they have raised their concern that we should have a proper convention now regarding cyber security. But let us talk about Budapest Convention once. What you will mention in this particular convention, it is basically only multilateral treaty on cyber security, and it addresses the internet and computer crimes, and it focuses on, if you want to write about more about this, then focuses on particularly harmonizing national laws. It focuses on the legal authorities associated and to improve them. In addition, it also focuses on investigation techniques. Okay, so this is what Budapest Convention all about, protecting you and your rights in cyberspace. This is the main focus of this kind of a cooperation. Another one is the Internet Cooperation for Assigned Names and Numbers. It is called as ICANN. What it talks about, it coordinates and ensures the smooth and secure functioning of the cybernetic framework. So this much is important. This is just factual information, students. There is nothing to that nothing particular thing is there which need to be explained. What is important is to mention the name in the examination. At the global level, what is there, you just mention 3 to 4 points which are very important, and you cannot just write Budapest Convention and leave it. You need to explain it in 1 or 2 lines. Then again I am saying learn limited and express it in your answer sheet. That is more valuable. So if you are giving this name, at least write 1 line about this particular topic. Next, I will give you 2 other points. One is Paris Call. What is Paris Call? Paris Call is regarding a statement of consensus. This particular statement of consensus is related to the growing concern about cyber threats, and it is basically a set of common principles agreed upon by the like-minded countries. Not just countries, private sector is there, private sector entities, and international civil society is also part of it. So how many stakeholders are there or participants are there? First of all, countries are there, right? Then there are private sector entities are there, international civil society organizations are there, and they all are going for common principle, establishing common principles on cyber security framework, and this is called as Paris Call. Okay. Next is Ground Zero Summit. What is Ground Zero Summit? So this Ground Zero Summit was organized in 2015. The theme of the summit was securing digital India. What this particular summit talked about? It talked about being a largest collaboration platform in Asia. It talked about cyber security experts and researchers, that what all challenges are there, and let's demonstrate the cutting edge technologies. So whatsoever particular in at the Asian platform level, whatever may be the experts and researchers which are there, they were expected to focus on cutting edge technologies and they were expected to demonstrate them, and that is why such summit was organized. Up till here we have discussed like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, fourth and 5 global initiatives, but I will explain more. In the exam maybe you will not be able to write everything, but at least if you remember at least 3 or 4 of them, it would be good. Like sixth initiative is Global Center for Cyber Security, and the Global Center for Cyber Security, it was launched by World Economic Forum and its headquarter is at Geneva. ठीक है? And next is the function. It functions, this particular Global Center for Cyber Security, it functions as autonomous organization under World Economic Forum. So this is something which can be asked in your prelims examination, right? Next point is the what this particular center is all about. It is the early warning think tank for any kind of future cyber security scenarios. Okay, so this is all about Global Center for Cyber Security. It is a global platform, so it's a global platform. The seventh one is the conference, that is Global Conference on Cyberspace. This particular conference, it is being held since 2011, that is biennially, one time in 2 years. Okay, every 2 years it is being conducted. The participants are, they are basically governments, civil society, private sector, and the theme is cooperation in cyberspace and enhancing cyber security building. So if this question is asked to you whether India has ever organized such conference, so the answer would be yes, India hosted this particular global conference on cyberspace in 2070. Yes, India has hosted it. Another example I would like to give, that is eighth point, and this is basically Commonwealth Cyber Declaration. This Commonwealth Cyber Declaration, it was a summit held in 2018, okay, and it is world's largest and most geographically, if you say, sound conference, because many countries are the part of the Commonwealth grouping, and then they all collaborated and participated in this particular cyber declaration conference. And its motive was to ensure the economic and the social development regarding the particular cyberspace, and supports the social and economic developments in the country. So that was the aim. Nothing much to explain about this particular declaration, but these points are the total 8 points that I have given you at the global strategy or global initiatives for cyber security. Remember these all these points. If a specific whole question on 10 marks being asked, then all these 8 points are relevant. If a specific question I am asked as a sub point, question, it's a small question, additional question of 5 marks maybe, then 3 points, 4 points are more than enough. Just explain them in short, which is much more valuable. Okay students. Next we will discuss the challenges to cyber security in India. So first challenge is the digital data threat. So I have already told you that there are growing number of transactions that are happening every day, and the internet subscribers are also increasing. So definitely we are focusing that the digital threats are increasing day by day, and there is a lack of robust law enforcement system, and under this heading we can say that the particular cyber security committees of institutions are there. Many a times we have seen ad hoc committees are being made and not permanent actually, and this is not right. And despite there are so many agencies which are working on such crimes, the problem is the implementation of law. So the problem that we have seen, and many a times we see such articles where it is being said that Indian law and it's good, but it stands cannot address the increasing data breaches that are happening. So that means the implementation of the law is a problem. Third issue that we are facing is new forms of terrorist attack, and that is cyber terrorism is one of them. It needs to be dealt off, because what they are doing, they are attacking for the information, they are attacking our computer systems, and if some kind of ransomware is there, then ransomware attack is there, then they are seeking resources from us as well, so and then misusing it. So computer systems are being attacked, and then there are particularly violence which is being propagated, and radicalism is spread using cyberspace. This is not right. Next point is, students, cyber warfare is the issue, that nations are against each other, and we have seen various examples. I have quoted these examples. Fifth is the cyber infrastructure concerns, that they are vulnerable. I have discussed the critical infrastructure which is vulnerable. And then there is lack of specialists as well. We actually lack talent pool, and we need such people who are talented enough to prevent such attacks. And ultimately there is also lack of coordination. So when we say coordination, that means there is a existence of too many agencies with many overlapping functions. In the field of cyber security, and proper coordination between agencies is required. Okay students, so all this is the challenges that we are facing with respect to cyber security. This is again a 10-mark question, and you just mention all these 6-7 points, it will make a good answer. And if you have to give the way forward in the context of this particular topic, you can say that there is a need to build the capacity in terms of for our applications what we are making today, building capacity with respect to our equipments that we use, and with respect to infrastructure testing. So when we talk about building the capacity, we have to build capacity at all levels. This is first point. We need to focus more on research and development, and we need to increase our budget allocations for that. And particularly we need to be good in innovative technologies so that less imports of the equipments are there. Next point you can give is regarding the PPP model for cybersecurity, that there is a need for providing public-private partnerships, because it is not the matter or concern only for the government, it is also the concern for the various business partners. And ultimately the last point is that we need good human resource capacity and talented people, so we need to motivate them. So all these things are required and we need to focus on that aspect. I've also mentioned it here that business objectives security strategy, not just with respect to the systems, it should be with respect to the people, processes, technology, and at the organization level holistically. Such a strategy is cybersecurity strategy is required. Okay students. Next is the policy and the governance. At the policy and the governance also level, there is a requirement that we need to ensure that there should be a proper implementation of the policy first of all, and at the governance level, that how the government is managing things and the center state relations should be good enough and ultimate cooperation should be there. So we need to focus on the awareness aspect as well, awareness with respect to the risk assessment, the exposure that we have, the vulnerabilities that we are facing. We need to identify the threats accordingly, according to the business, and establish the contingency plans, whatever contingency plans that are required if such kind of attacks happens tomorrow, and develop protection and detection measures as well. So we need to be prepared in all these aspects. Last point that we will discuss in this video is the Sri Krishnan Committee report, that is BN Sri Krishnan Committee report 2018. Mains question was asked to you regarding the committee, and now you can quote this committee. So I'll give you just little bit background actually. So first of all, who was this BN Sri Krishnan? Let me tell you about this particular why this commission was established. So what happened was, in 2017 this particular committee was formed, okay, and it published its report. But way back what happened in the Puttaswamy case, Supreme Court gave its judgment that right to privacy is a fundamental right, And if it is a fundamental right, then it was the responsibility of the committee to establish a report that how can these particular fundamental right, the privacy of the people regarding their data, how that can be protected. So regarding this particular committee was formed, and what are the basic points given by the report? I'll mention some of the points. A few points were that if you want to use the data of an individual, then individual consent is required. Then this particular report also said that there is a need of data protection authority, and it should be the in charge of ensuring that processing of data, what laws are required. So whatever laws that are required in processing the data, this particular authority should be the in charge of it. This was another point given by the report. Next point given by the report was that at least one copy of personal data will be stored or located within India. So if any kind of a multinational business is there, company is there which is of international origin, then that particular company cannot take the data, and it has to keep one copy of the data in the India itself. Next is the transfers outside the country will need to be subject to safeguards. That whatever companies, if they are taking data outside, that they need to ensure that the protection of the data needs to be taken care of. That is one of the another point given by the report. And if there is any kind of critical personal data includes your name, first of all, your age, and maybe your particular information, then that particular critical personal data, it will only be stored and processed in India. And all these points, there were other points also, but these 5-6 points are more than enough for you. And this is very important, this report is very important, because now what government is trying to do, government is trying to come up with a law of data protection. So you know, data protection bill is already there and it is under discussion, and very soon it will be a law. And if this particular bill is passed, if it becomes a law, it will be a very important topic for UPSC to ask. So at the bill level, definitely UPSC may ask, it can ask you the strength and the weakness of the bill, but generally UPSC asks questions regarding the acts when they are turned into acts. But in 2018 it asked regarding the report and also the strength and the weakness of the report. So we will discuss about the issues and challenges of the report. Again, you can mention these points of issues and challenges in your future answer, so be prepared. First is the cost acceleration. So definitely we do not have that much infrastructure where we can store such a huge amount of data in India and process it. And if we do so, there will be the escalation of the cost, and secondly, the lack of infrastructure. We lack such infrastructure today, right? And India is not efficient today in data collection and management. So we totally lack in that aspect. Third point is the domino effect. What is the domino effect? If we are trying to protect our data today, then it will also create that particular domino effect, that other countries will also try to protect their data for their citizens, and in this way the global business will be harmed ultimately. So the domino effect means that the protectionist policies will be part and parcel of the policy making for different countries, and this is not right again. And what about the encryption keys? Even if we are storing the data in our country, then also such kind of encryption keys will still remain out of our reach, right? Another point. And lastly, forced data localization can create inefficiencies both at business level and consumer level. So though these 2 points are overlapping somewhere, but these are the various issues and challenges that we face with respect to the particular BN Sri Krishnan committee. And ultimately, if I mention about the way forward also, that what is the way forward now? So first point is that we need to establish or increase our capacity at infrastructure establishment level simply, and for that we need higher server capacities, which is cheaper also, first of all, faster in transferring of the data, and it is very important part, because if the transfer is not that much fast and efficient, it will create lot of problem. Lastly, we need strong data protection law, and this particular law should clearly define and limit the surveillance power from government level, from the business level, and henceforth the right to privacy, which is today a fundamental right, the right can be protected, right? So students, this is the way forward, and focus and be prepared for the data protection act. If it comes up in future, it will be a very good important and potential question tomorrow. So all this is all about the cyber security points, cyber security, basics of the cyber security, where we have discussed the different methods, we have discussed in part 2 the steps taken by the government. Everything has been explained in part 1 and part 2, and my students will now are capable enough to handle any kind of question, that I am sure of. So thank you so much students, best wishes to you.